Okay, so
It
now
has started.
it has started. Yes. Okay. Namaste to all of you. Welcome to our show, Remember Who You Really Are, that is hosted at Awake TV. And in this episode, I am joined by a dear friend, a renowned author, global teacher, and mentor, Metin Hara. Welcome, Metin.
Thank you.
Before we start, I want to give our audience an idea of your work, if I can put it in very few words, but just an idea. So I'm going to share a bit about your bio. Metin Hara has adopted an effectual school of treatment by synthesizing the knowledge of various energy methods and the knowledge of modern medicine, demonstrates both practically and scientifically what power of love and thought is able to do. Metin, who set out his inner journey at the age of 15, has received trainings in a good deal of distinctive teachings and improved himself in respect to esotericism. He has also attended Istanbul University, Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation. He has also been awarded the most promising actor in International Ankara Film Festival in 2008 as one of the leading actors in the film Listen to the Ney that was released in 2007. The book, The Path, which is the first book of Invasion of Love trilogy, has sold more than 100,000 copies with only 3 months and been in the bestseller list for around 8 months. He has founded Trust Human Academy in 2014 to show forth that each individual has a present to offer to the world. The same very year, he has been chosen as TEDx speaker, and he gave his speech, A Different World is Possible, that was aired in 126 countries. Metin has been giving trainings and seminars at a great many universities, medicine faculties, and health institutions, has also been giving many trainings and seminars abroad to teach how love and power of thought impacts human health, both scientifically and practically. So beautiful.
I've listened to it, and I just feel kind of what to say. I just feel weird when you hear about yourself, because I do not really depend on my identifications and what have I achieved. But the thing is, the people want to hear the story behind it, and that's kind of a part of the story.
Yeah, it's a like a timeline of your journey, right? Which is it's so beautiful. And I know when you hear this, it has a different sound, but it's such a beautiful journey, and you've done so many beautiful things around the world that we really need to share and tell people. That's the news we need to share, right, with people.
I believe so.
I want to start because I think it's so interesting. I know you for a long time and you're very dear to my heart. And I'm so happy that we get a chance to do this. So, knowing your life story, right? I would love if you could share with our audience your experience around 12 years old when you discovered that you can heal yourself after so much, turmoil and things that have happened. And how or what happened when you told your parents about it?
The thing is, at the age of 12, I started discovering some things about human nature, because the message is never about what I can do, because obviously I teach lots of things which will sound science fiction, like, walking on fire, walking on broken glass, lucid dreaming, lots of different things, mind reading, and all these things. But the thing is, because I didn't have any other thing to compare, I had only one life, I kind of had difficult times understanding what the nature of the human mind can do and everything. And at the age of 15, which I had lots of questions, I was discovered by one mentor, let's say, and she started to teach me about, look, these are not, you're not going crazy, you're not going insane. These are some things that the human mind can do, and there are techniques to enhance through the path. And when I learned about the techniques, everybody that will watch us will understand the feeling. You have some text, some books, some training. Ah, I knew it. This is the eureka for all of us. Like, I knew it. Yes, this was my thought, and somebody have verbally told about it. And this is a book. This is something. This is a workshop, and they are saying that they are telling about the same aspect of life. And when you feel that you're not a weirdo and you're not some different thing, and then you start to understand and go deeper. This is the thing about real, sincere spirituality. Much of the people, including us, I live in Istanbul. I lived in States. I traveled around the world. But the thing is, all of these big city spiritual people, which we don't want to label or just make a difference in speech. But the thing is, we all are trying to live a modern life with spirituality. And sometimes spirituality is imprisoned by the workshops. In the workshop, you're such a gentle person, but in the outside world, you're such a different person. So the thing is, we have to have integrity. And we have to understand that even though we live a modern life with modern capitalist struggles and family issues and government issues, everything, we still have to do something sincerely, and we need to create a way of life, which we don't need to abandon living in a modern society. So what I try to understand about the human nature is how can we combine the Eastern wisdom with the Western style of living? Because I had come from a very scientific education, and I've gone through a medical school, which I became a physical therapist, I wanted to tell the people in a way that I don't exclude any part of humanity. We all have different beliefs, we all have different cultures, we all have different family values. But the thing is, the value would be goodness, being gentle, the path would be a breath work, and the message would be totally result oriented. It was like a scientific, you don't have to believe in anything, whatever you have belief, whatever you have as a culture, it's like taking advantage of center of gravity or the law of gravity. It's over there, we just need to understand it and cooperate with it. So I try to create a message that doesn't include any part of humanity. You can be Indian, you can be American, you can be Canadian, you can be religious, you can do the breathing exercise. So at the age of 18, when my father was he had a terminal car accident. It took more than 1.5 years for him to get on his feet again, and we had months of coma and intensive care. So at that time, I was forced to do something as a kid and also as a healer. So I started experimenting about what I have learned and what I could do. And at one time, one of the biggest hospitals in Turkey, they experienced that I had walked into the intensive care and the machine started to beep and the people started to react. And also the doctors also knew about it. So what I tried to do is I had some things that I was experiencing. I didn't know where to put them. So I kind of combined in a scientific way, and because I gave a promise to my father, if he ever woke up, I would pay the debt to all the humanity. So I was in debt about my father's life, and that one life what needed to be spread and paid it forward to all the humanity. And then in the pathway, my mom became sick. She had also a terminal cancer, which she is well, and both of them are well till this day. My mom is still struggling, but she had lots of cancer treatments and everything. So all this time, it was a um, different mindset that I also gave the struggle with my family through these diseases and everything. And I also tried to pay it forwards to all these people by sharing this knowledge and giving them practices so they wouldn't have to deal with such tremendous amount of pain. And so the people will ask, you're all angelic and you're all spiritual, you're all good vibes only. No, all this philosophy and action has blossomed through pain. I didn't want the other kids to feel such pain with their mom, dad, or with their nature about spirituality, and they would blame themselves for it maybe. So it has all became one message, I think, and I'm doing my best to spread it all around.
That's beautiful. How how easy do you think it is to translate this? Because it's something that we've been doing in some areas, translating the spiritual experience or the understanding of oneself with science, or trying to pass this message, as you are saying. You have a mindset, right? When you're going through different things, people tend to have a specific mindset. How easy, or how did you find um, the way, right? Connecting with those people, explaining, if you want, if you like a concrete way for them to understand the experiences, right? You own, explaining it to them that they're in a very different world, they live in a very different perception of the world.
It's a great question, but the thing is, first of all, I think much of the spiritual people also have to have integrity, as what I said, because some of the techniques. You also know we have shared a lot, and the people memorize what the teacher has said. That way, they don't have the roots to give uh, great answers to the people who will feel satisfied about the answer because they have memorized the technique. But I don't think this goes the same style with the Western education system. Western education system is the transfer of knowledge. So the professors don't have to be good people or don't have to practice what they are doing. They know it, they have got the knowledge, and they just transfer it. But now, for centuries, we know, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
uh, we have put it in. I'm sorry for the thing. We have put the charger also, but it seems it has given some alert. The thing is, what we can do is we can really understand that we need a new transformation system because
Mhm.
much of the people may, for example, let's say the people are smoking, okay? They know that it's not good for them. They know that it's gonna end up bad. But the thing is, they don't change their attitude. So we have to understand that knowledge does not really have that much control about our attitude or habits. So what I needed to do is I needed to understand rather than memorize. So when you try to understand the basics of what you're teaching or what you're living, then you have to find a way to root them on the ground, and you have to find a way that different varieties of experiences may arise. So in that way, I did lots of research, and the most thing I've done is I worked on people.
Mhm.
So when you work on thousands and thousands of people, you kind of have an idea what they will experience, what they will ask, what they will need, what they will, uh, which steps they need to go up, or what side effects they can get. So when you try to understand it, there is an element of science behind it because you have to understand how the body reacts, how the breathing exercise reacts, and how they will react. For example, in one of the breathing exercises that I teach, it's stimulating the vagus nerve to calm you down so you become more meditative in brainwave. So the blood pressure will drop because you know that this neurological pathway will lead to a stimuli that will drop the blood pressure. So you need to understand it 300 degrees, 360 degrees. So when you search for everything, I think you get a better picture and you let go of the fanaticism about the spirituality. And in my personal evolution, I have seen that I had been more fanatic about what I would say. Now I'm more open, easygoing, and I'm just eager to share for everyone that's asking me for it, but staying silent in lots of places and do not really have to prove something.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe we all need to spend some time rather than anything to have a concrete message. So if anyone tries to understand it, poke it, or criticize it, you're just too powerful and sure about yourself
Mm-hmm.
that you have been transferring this in a great manner, in ethical way, and in a scientific result oriented base.
Mm-hmm. Did you find that, because I know you've done a lot of work in business, and in business, what's funny is that sometimes you have people that don't choose to be there, but their company decided that they're going to take this. So it's a very different thing than, individual people coming to your workshop, to your thing, they want to be there. Did you get any kind of what you're saying, right? People that don't believe, people that are very, very hesitant. And I wonder also in the way of growth, right? Our society growth. Businesses are a huge part of, showing how we are as a humanity, as a society. Are they growing with the population? Are we learning? Are we evolving?
The thing is, when the first time some corporate employee asked me to do such thing, I said, no, I'm not into it. I just want everybody to be eager to listen to me. I really don't have the time for this. But then the next day he came. He was an attendee in my seminars. And he came and he said, look, here you see all these people, they have the money, they have the time, they have the awareness, consciousness to come here. But if you just focus on them, you're going to have 1% of the human population. And do you think it serves the purpose that you said it's invasion of love, a different world is possible? And it kind of shook me. It shook me by the heart. And I said, yes, he's right. And I said, let's give it a try. And I wasn't expecting such thing. I was expecting more revolutionary companies to be getting this service from me. But what I have seen is Turkey is a religious country, and I don't put any of my messages on religion. I really try to keep it in a diverse spectrum. So what I did is I started, and you cannot believe how many companies, all these global companies, I made contracts and I created contents for them. And I understood that right amount of understanding with the right amount of science behind it, everybody is open for self-exploration. But the thing is, when you start your speech with talking with angels and all these energy and everything, you lose much of them. So what I did is I always put the content so they could swallow, and in time I put advanced content so they would be more thirsty, more enthusiastic about it. So I believe that I wasn't expecting that, but much of the companies like Unilever, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Topshop, all these oil companies, chemical companies, all these big companies, Procter and Gamble, they started getting this service. And what I see is, yes, the audience will react in a different way when they are forced to be there. But much of the time, I look at it like this. This person probably in my company is called Trust Human. Trust Human services and seminars, they will never come nearby it. But the thing is, I have this chance to spend this time with her, with him, whatever he is, and I can do an impact. And I like that because normally this is a different part of the mission that we have put on ourselves. And I believe every one of them is struggling with life.
Mhm.
Even you have money, you have kids, you don't have kids, you're married, you're single. Every one of us is struggling through life. We are also. And I believe that as I touch other people's lives, I had the chance to cure my own wounds. And that way I felt better because we all have a choice. You can be, you can do bad actions, evil actions. You can do, you can do acts of goodness and feel how your heart feels. It's being coherent.
Mhm.
Feel, just feel. And that way I believe that I have created a pathway for my life. I don't believe that I'm the chosen one. I don't believe that I have special powers. I believe that with self respect, but also with a friendly voice, we don't need to preach people, but we need them to remember what kind of a family, what kind of a home they have. And that's just in a different way. So I believe that all these spiritual people have a great potential to change the world because our old belief systems, which some of them really depend on hatred and all these actions, we need to revolutionize the way of thinking because it didn't serve for thousands of years. Nowadays, a kid will understand why we don't have to put aside homosexuality or different choices or different skin colors. They would say, are you crazy? Like, I have different kind of skin and I have different kind of hair, and I come out and I say only the ginger people will rule the world. How crazy that sounds. Now we can just laugh, but really the kids are going to say,
Mhm.
is he out of his mind? I cannot be a part of such a message. And the humankind have been a part of such messages. Look, we have been arrived through different countries, different cultures. You, Daniel, me, that's harmony. Are we crazy? I don't want another Metin Hara talking about his snobbish life. I don't want it. I want to learn, experience something else. So it's kind of fascist state of mind that we really need to be all together, believe in the same thing, work in the same way, feel in the same way, love in the same way. So what I try to do is I try to embrace all humanity and show that every one of us has a chance to inspire, spread love, and do acts of goodness, big or small. It really it creates a chain reaction.
Mhm. Embrace oneself, right? Embrace our individuality, our differences, and that's what we are sharing with people. It's a beautiful way. It used to be you had to be somebody, and in the spiritual world, like in the transformational journey, you had to look like or be a part, like like some great master. And if you couldn't be, because you cannot be, you are a different person, you felt like, oh, I'm not doing it right, I'm not there, I'm missing something. But what you're saying, and I totally agree, and I think that's a beautiful message, is anyone, anybody, doesn't matter who you are, once you're taking your journey, you are the impersonification, right? In any journey that you take, in the search for your inner self. So bringing the integrity of being true with who you are, the love in yourself, and you see the same in everybody, right? I imagine, because you also traveled a lot, at the end of the day you see that people are so similar in so many different ways. Yes, we have cultural differences, yes, we have, I don't know, belief systems, differences and all this stuff, but we are the same. We are looking for the same thing. We're looking for love, we're looking for health, we're looking for a good life. And I like, on your book, and I have it here, I have to say, it says, the roadmap of love, rebirth, awareness, eternity, transformation, and healing. Overcoming the illusion, the transformational journey, right? And I know it's it's a journey for everybody, and your journey has been, you know, as you said and as you shared, very interesting. Is there something you find at this moment in life that is coming up, like a different kind of transformation or a new um, waking up of something? You said earlier, we are not with before we started talking about complexity, right? Simplifying certain things. Is that a part of?
Yeah, definitely. On the journey, I have changed so much because I have learned and I have been on the road. The things that I live, the people that I love, the things that I've done, and everything, it makes it enriches me from the inside. But the thing is, there are two things now simplifying everything because while I started to become very popular about my work in my country, I created very big venues, I created very big events and everything. And I found myself working continuously on stage. And I was a little bit exhausted. And I didn't believe that through changing the world, yes, my aim was to change the world, but not with losing the inner joy and starving Metin to unhappiness. So the thing is, we all need to find a balance also. So the first thing that would be definitely simplifying your life. And what I did is I just looked at the things in the second way, in the second philosophy that I got. Um, how much this is going to cost me? The people will measure this by currency about money. But I started to look at it as how much this is going to cost me as unrest, as anxiety, as unhappiness. And sometimes in the in the money world, let's say, it was making sense, but in my own equilibrium, it didn't make any sense because it was going to cost unhappiness for me. And that way, I have a different way of currency in my life. So I started taking so much time with my family. I started taking time for myself. I started to have some time for me also, which really didn't serve anything because we start to identify ourselves as a savior. And this is a big ego. We're not that, we're just serving. And what I did is I gave a time and place for the little ginger Metin to have fun and do whatever he wants in life. So I would have the joy, and also joy would be also spread through what I say because it's mirror neurons. The people will copy the joy that I have. So I find it much more better. Because of that, the new book, the fifth book, which is coming up, is kind of a grown up fairy tale story, which is telling all this wisdom in a much more naive way. So it's not about do breathing exercise. This is the chi energy. This is what the Eastern wisdom says and everything. These are big exclamations, but this book is doing it in a more childish and innocent way. So that became a new path for me. So all these four books, the two are about my seminars, which have been created a book about it. The other two is about acts of goodness and the science behind goodness. But the fifth book is totally different area, which I haven't written any books about. So I believe that through our evolution, the message that we have delivered uh, needs to evolve also. And if that is happening, we are true messengers that will carry everything.
Mhm. Do you think we are ready for more? Because it sounds, you know, it's I love the idea and I love the message of a simpler, like a simpler story, a more childish, you know, story. However, sometimes in our society, people, you know, people want complication. they feel that, if it's simple, it's not worth it. We're used to all these da 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 and thoughts. Do you think we are ready for that? As society is ready to take, for me, it's a step inwards, right? Simplicity, uh, purity, child purity is a step that goes inside. Do you think we are ready for that as society?
First of all, the ego and the left brain creates complex problems. And we feel stupid when our complex problems have been solved by simple pathways. So the ego really asks for a complex situation because, yeah, I know about your problem. It's nothing but mine. It's so complex. It's nothing you can even imagine. What is the problem? I have a problem with my husband, wife. Yes, you can either repair it, you can either accept it, or you can let it go. So it's not really complex. I understand that you might have all this drama and everything, but it's not really that complex. It has a solution, or it has three pathways. There is no fourth pathway. The aliens will not kidnap your wife and change the mind and attitude. So the thing is, the people will ask for the complex solutions because the mind wants to be amused about it. But the simpler solutions work the best. And I believe that it's the more eternal solutions in the long pathway. It's the simpler solutions are much more adaptable in life. So I believe that there is a society of humankind which loves Little Prince, which loves childish movies, which loves Amelie, which loves different kinds of movies, Avatar, which is protecting the different nature and everything. And we all have a society which is not really a small percentage. I think we have a childish people, and the new generation doesn't buy the bullshit about the capitalism and everything. They become more childish in some other senses. So we really want to see acts of goodness. We really want to see that innocent message also. And I believe that this portion of the society can become bigger and bigger, because if we let the inner child awaken, then they will be magnetically taken to the place and like pulled to the place and understand and read about these things.
Mm-hmm. No, so
I
some.
still believe that bicycle is something very important for the child. I still watch lots of cartoons. I spend time with my nephew, and I want him to preserve what is valuable through his life. And yes, we have been broken. Where yes, we have gone through lots of pain, lots of different struggles. But I still believe that we have this inner child to guide us. And I believe that we have more than 40,000 belief systems in the globe. And none of them guarantees you the happy life. You
Mm-hmm.
can pray, you can meditate. It doesn't guarantee, but if you follow the inner child, yes, you have a happy life. You feel the moment, you are wise, you don't take bullshit complex situations. You just solve, you just do what you want, you just express what you want. Is that the spirituality? I'm sorry.
No worries.
Is that the spirituality? Is that the spirituality that we're trying to express? Yes, it is. So the inner child has all the things that we need, that we're trying to express in a spiritual realm. And that's the simplicity of life.
Mm-hmm. That's true. When we're
At the
doing.
end, we ask people to embrace the moment, love the other ones,
Mm-hmm.
don't harm the people, don't harm the living creature, share, share the joy, share awareness. That is so simple.
That's true. When we're doing exercises, and you come back to exercises with people that has to see yourself as, when you were a child or how you felt, it gets so emotional for so many people, because I think as we grow up, people tend to forget that you are that purity, that thing that you see. Even today, you see a child, right? You see the purity in the child, but there unfortunately on this path, you tend to forget that you're still that divinity, right? You're still that light. It's still inside of you. You just covered it so much that it's hard to, see. And yeah, I totally agree about it. It's yeah, it's such a funny world. And I think today, with everything that's going on, I know you said about the system and all this stuff, and you know and the top of this system, right, of capitalism, of society, of different ranks, of hierarchies and all this kind of stuff, I think is what today
I'm
with the
taking notes, by the way. Yeah.
with the pandemic, I think it brought to the surface all this, if you like, I don't know if I want to say bad, but like unfair, like irrational things that we're doing as a society, right? What's your perception about it? How is your surrounding, your environment, right, into this?
I did a video in Turkish about what is coronavirus, and it became a huge hit. What I did is I took all the numbers that humankind has forced to extinction, and I took the numbers of the coronavirus about what was going on, about we humankind just stayed in our homes. We had a little bit of, I'm sorry, but can we change the other one? I'm asking for the new charging device. I don't know why it's not charging. We have 3 devices. We'll see about it. But what I did is I kind of put out the numbers about how much harm the humankind was projecting onto the other creatures, other species. And I put coronavirus about how it was harming the human numbers and population. And you could obviously see that we are the coronavirus of this globe for all of these species, and we have been a greater negative impact about much of the species. So we have to reflect and look back about what we are doing, what we are serving, the way about our nutrition, the eating habits and everything. I'm sorry, I'm changing the charging device. Hopefully it's gonna work. And all of the things about how we are educating the people, how we are funding the war machines, war industry and everything. So all these things, when combined, we understand that knowing and wishing for good doesn't really affect. I kind of am in a different pathway with lots of spiritual people, because they say, oh, we wish this, we wish that. Yes, but when you wish that I drink water, my thirst is not gone. So I really don't want the wishing, because all these war times, the people wish that it was over. All these genocide times, all these rapes and everything, we wish that it's over, but it doesn't work like this. We need to put some action out there. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do is I try to create a rebellion which is not based on any faction's superiority or any violence action or any guns, anything. So we need to really understand that this system needs to change, and the evolution doesn't work really good with the rifles and all these tanks and bombs and everything. There have been lots of revolutions through that. We now see that in the human history it didn't work good. So we need to have a different conscious way of revolution. So, and that only can be transferred, not with bullets, not with anthems, not with superiority speeches, but it's going to be with love, kindness, and acts of goodness. So what I've experienced in my life is, if I give awareness, health, happiness to anyone, either that way or this way, they're gonna serve this to others, because when they get the epidemic of goodness, they spread it wisely, and it can be a way that they can raise children. It can be a way that they can give seminars, speeches, write books, do their art, do their projects, anything. But we can really make a difference to the world by just making a difference to few people around us. I don't come from a prestigious, rich, known family. I didn't have any government positions to reach to the people. I didn't have a religious title to preach about anything. I am just no one from just a city, just try to serve people. And I have served more than, like this path in Turkey, I've sold more than 500,000 copies. And this is a very big number for a religious, kind of
Mm-hmm.
low reading frequency country. And I have given seminars to tens of thousands of people. And I don't tell this to brag about myself, but rather be an inspiration for the people whom society will say you're worthless. You have nothing. If you don't have money, if you don't have great outlook, if you don't have some extraordinary talent, you're nothing to this society. And I strongly resent to that opinion. And I say, yes, you make a difference. Yes, you have a value. Yes, I don't know what you have gone through, but you have a message and you have a pathway to share it. So I believe that we all need to get our actions up out there, because while we are just giving seminars and wishing well, the people are dying, the people are being raped, the people are forced into underage working circumstances and everything. And we need to get serious, I say. Not serious in the way that we don't smile anymore, but we need to put consistent action. And as we can show to these people that we have gone through so different pathways, now we have collaborated our powers to reach out to the new people.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
and Daniel asked me, are you willing to do such a thing? I just said, sure, whatever you're doing, I'm there to support you.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not rivals really. Only rivalry would be ignorance, would be hatred, but not other writers, other mentors, other people who are doing good. So we need to have a heartfelt collaboration with everyone around the world, because I don't believe that here in Turkey, if somebody's suffering from something, it's not really, it doesn't mean anything more to me in Philippines, in Australia, in Vancouver, in Mexico. I don't really care about what color, what
Mm-hmm.
distance we have. All screams will be heard by the heart. So what I try to say is we need to get ourselves up, and we need to have strong messages, scientific proof, clear messages, not being with war or competition with anyone, and embracing everyone till we have none to transform.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful message for everybody. It's true. It's no more excuses, right? In a sense of we can do anything that we decide to do. Just clarity and focus and actually acting. When you start acting and doing something, you actually see that, all the fear that you couldn't, it was just the fear. It's all there. When you actually start doing it, you realize it's so much easier than you thought it's going to be.
I believe that the path will unfold in time. So we don't really need to see Vancouver through our pathway. But
Hmm.
as you drive the car, it's going to be unfolding in time. And I believe that it creates an addiction. So when you do acts of kindness or goodness to any people, or when you help them to transform their lives, it creates an addiction and you want to do it again. And that way, I ask all my assistants, how did you like it? How did you see all these experience through this venue? And they say, oh, it was life changing. And I said, you're you're in bullshit now. And they say, why? Because you've become addicted. You cannot really lose your integrity and heartfelt intuition through going all this pathway, because at the first stages of life you may sometimes want something for your ego. You may want to be recognized, significance, all of these things through trying to answer your question marks in your mind. But after some time, you really get into it. And I don't really need to prove anything. I don't really have a war with anyone. I just want the people to transform. So, with our transformation, I believe it's going to affect lots of people in the future, lots of little kids. So, we need to have this responsibility on our shoulders. While we are wasting water, while we are wasting knowledge, while we are wasting health, while we are wasting resources about the globe, because we have limited, and we need to understand that sharing is a much better option for all of us.
True. Very true. So your message for the world, for the future of the world, is a positive one. Once we start doing all these
Definitely,
facts.
definitely. I believe that you still will have struggles in life. A positive mindset will diminish all these struggles and will give you power and motivation to find solutions for them. I didn't find any scenario that a negative mind state would do better. That's simple understanding. I don't find any life which you don't love which is better. You can do everything with loving, compassion, and smiling better. So it's pure logic. I think you don't need to be a spiritual guide or spiritual wise person. It's simple logic.
That's beautiful. That's so like on the spot. Very, very nice. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
We will have a present for the people who are watching this stream, and we will put a meditation over there. So as we have talked and you have listened, we don't want you to be the audience. We want you to be the creators. We want you to be the actors. We want you to be on the stage. So we wanted to share this experience, and I will create a meditation just for these people so they will take the benefits, and we'll have a 10 minutes of journey through all of us to serve people.
Thank you so much, Metin. Thank you for
Thank you.
being with us. Thank you for giving us, all these
It was
beautiful.
an honor. It was an honor. And for every soul that watches us, we're grateful to have this experience and chance to meet with all of you. Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the third eye activation. In the first stage of our meditation, we'll just calm the mind. Just inhale deep and exhale in a slower pace. Do not fight with your mind. Just breathe in and exhale in a slower pace. This breathing exercise will biohack your body to be calmer and slower. Your mind may wander to thoughts. Just watch it. Observe without judgment. Just inhale deep and exhale deeper. Now we will start the third eye activation process. Just focus your attention to your third eye. This is an ancient Chinese meditation. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. As you focus on your third eye, you will feel some sensations will arise there. Accept them without any judgment. Feel the energy field in your third eye. As you breathe in deep and exhale deeper, the energy will get stronger. Just focus on the sensation which arises in the third eye. Accept whatever comes without any judgment. Let the energy do its work. Feel the energy. Feel your third eye. Activating the third eye gives you abilities, psychic powers, and understanding through life. Embrace the change in your body. You can slowly open your eyes.